A 27-member team of the European Union is all set to visit Kashmir tomorrow. Ahead of that, the delegation today called on Prime Minister Modi and National Security Advisor Ajit Doval.
Terrorism and radicalism.
In the meeting, Prime Minister Modi stressed on the importance of fighting terrorism.
Urgent action must be taken against all those who support or sponsor terrorists or support such activities and organizations or use terrorism as a state policy. There should be zero tolerance for terrorism.
The European Union delegation will be visiting to get a feel of the ground situation.
I'm going to see to find out. I've been listening to a lot of people today from the Prime Minister downwards talking to me, explaining to me about it, but I want to see on the ground how it actually is and talk to some local people as well.
Former Jammu and Kashmir Chief Minister Mahbooba Mufti hoped that the Iron Curtain between Kashmir and the world is lifted with this visit. Kashmir has been under lockdown since the 5th of August when the centre decided to revoke its special status. While landline and postpaid mobile phone services have been restored, internet services have remained suspended. The EU delegation's visit comes on the heels of a US congressional meeting in Washington last week where a group of lawmakers expressed concern about the deteriorating human rights situation in Jammu and Kashmir. And ahead of that visit by the EU delegation, terror has returned to the valley. Terrorists lobbed a grenade at a bus stand near a busy market in Sopore in North Kashmir. 15 people have been injured in that attack. At least 2 are said to be in critical condition. Security forces have cordoned off the area. They've launched an operation to nab the attackers. And in news that is just coming in, a truck driver has been killed by terrorists in Anantnag. He is the 6th civilian fatality in the last fortnight alone just in the valley. Now, Kashmir has been in lockdown over the last 3 months or so, but the government has been periodically lifting some of the restrictions. Here's what that entails. All landlines are now operational and have been since the 11th of September. All schools, primary, middle school and high schools have opened by the first week of October, though attendance in most of the schools, particularly in Srinagar and its outskirts, is still pretty much very thin. All colleges and universities have also reopened starting the 9th of October. Postpaid mobile phone connections were operational since the 14th of October, though prepaid SIM cards are still not working in the valley. And internet, both broadband as well as mobile internet, has been suspended since the day before the revocation of Article 370. It's 85 days now. Meanwhile, the anti-India protests in London by some pro-Pak groups over the situation in Kashmir on Diwali Day turned out to be a rather damp squib. It was meant to be a protest of 40,000, but barely 4,000 turned up outside UK Prime Minister Boris Johnson's official residence.
The demonstrators marched down the street from the square behind, which is Westminster Square, and they stopped here at 10 Downing Street to make their protest and to make their point.
Following widespread concerns, the London police imposed strict restrictions on the route of the march to deny permission for it to culminate before the Indian High Commission. As part of a counter-campaign, British Indian groups hired a digital billboard vehicle to traverse central London streets and then spread the inclusive and universal message of Diwali. The Indian High Commission in London had issued a diplomatic note verbal seeking safety measures. This after clashes involving similar protesters, which had caused significant damage to India House during Independence Day celebrations. This is Brasstacks, the only show on TV which focuses exclusively on the news. Coming up in 10 minutes here on the show, why is Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel getting whipped? We'll get you the interesting story behind that superstition in 10 minutes right here on Brasstacks. It's been 70 hours and counting. It's a race against time to save little Sujit Wilson, who is trapped inside a 600 feet bore well. Officials say the rescue operation may take another 12 hours as the toddler has slipped down further by 90 feet. They're digging a tunnel parallel to the borewell to reach the toddler. But the drilling process is taking longer than expected owing to the rocky terrain. Once it's done, the fire service personnel will go inside the 1 meter wide tunnel to pull out the child. NDRF workers have been pumping oxygen into the tunnel, but have not been able to contact the child since Saturday. A special type of camera that has been placed inside the bore well hasn't been able to track the child's movements. The 2-year-old fell into the open bore well on Friday evening and has been stuck there without any food or water.
அரசுடைய கவனத்திற்கு கொண்டு வரப்பட்ட உடனே முழுவீச்சில் அரசு எந்திரம் முழுமையாக அந்த மீட்பு பணியில் ஈடுபடுத்தப்பட்டது.
Now here are some of the previous instances of kids having been stuck inside bore wells. The most famous example is that of 5-year-old Prince who fell in a bore well in Kurukshetra in Haryana. This was back in 2005. He was rescued after a 48-hour operation. This, of course, captured the national imagination back then when it first happened. In Devas in Madhya Pradesh last year, a 4-year-old girl was rescued just after 36 hours after she fell inside a bore well. Also last year in Munger in Bihar, a 3-year-old fell into a bore well and was rescued after 30 hours. In Russia, a child fell into an open manhole while her mother was right next to her. The child was walking on the pavement and stepped on a circular lid covering the manhole. But the lid suddenly flipped and sent the child plunging down. The frantic mother threw her bag down and heaved off the lid and leaned down headfirst to rescue the trapped girl. Another passerby joined her and together they pulled the girl out of the manhole. In a move to ensure safety of commuters, the Delhi government has appointed 13,000 former home guards as marshals on DTC buses. Now, this move comes a day before the Aam Aadmi Party government starts providing free bus rides to women in the national capital. The scheme has been Kejriwal's major poll plank ahead of the Delhi Assembly elections. P. Chidambaram has been taken to the All India Institute of Medical Sciences after he complained of acute stomach pain. He's currently under the custody of the Enforcement Directorate till the 30th of October. The former finance minister has been arrested in connection with the INX media case in which he's accused of taking bribes to the tune of 10 lakh rupees. The ongoing strike of the Telangana Road Transport Corporation has claimed the life of an 8th employee. The deceased was one of the 48,000 employees sacked by the Telangana government for striking at work. Sacked bus drivers and ticket collectors observed Deepavali by staging a sit-in at bus depots across the state. On the occasion of Diwali, Bengaluru residents decided to send a message to authorities. They lit lamps in potholes in the Kottigepalia area in order to get the attention of the civic authorities. The residents called on the mayor to fix the deteriorating condition of public infrastructure in the neighborhood. Well, it's been 4 days since the BJP and the Shiv Sena won the Maharashtra elections, but neither party is any closer or seemingly interested in forming the next government. Delegations from both parties met the Maharashtra governor separately. The official word is that the meetings were to exchange Diwali greetings.
1993 से जब इस मुंबई का महापौर रहा था तब से मैं राज्यपाल महोदय को दीपावली की शुभेच्छा देने के लिए मेरा उपक्रम है. तब से आज तक एक भी साल ऐसा नहीं हुआ कि मैं गया नहीं.
The governor has to invite the single largest party to form the government unless there is a pre-poll alliance that has a clear majority. The Sena BJP pre-poll alliance won a clear majority with the BJP as the single largest party. The Shiv Sena reminded the BJP of the 50-50 power sharing formula that the two parties had talked about, but the BJP is having none of it.
आपल्या महायुतीला मिळालेला हा जनादेश आहे. या जनादेशाचा नीट सन्मान होईल. या जनादेशामध्ये भारतीय जनता पार्टी सगळ्यात मोठा पक्ष म्हणून आणि महाराष्ट्रातलाही सगळ्यात मोठा पक्ष म्हणून या ठिकाणी आपल्याला जनादेश मिळालेला आहे.
The Sena has sought an arrangement where a chief minister each from the two parties will split the 5-year term. Many Sena MLAs want party chief Uddhav Thackeray's son, Aditya Thackeray, to be chief minister for 2.5 years. Aditya is the first of the Thackeray clan to contest and win an election. The reporting of al-Baghdadi's killing itself was not without its fair share of controversy. One of Trump's most hated publications, the Washington Post, is facing a lot of flack over a headline that it shows for an obituary notice for Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi. The headline read, and I quote, austere religious scholar at the helm of Islamic State dies at 48. Since then, Twitter has been flooded with similar obits for well-known criminals, both real and fictional, whether it's Osama bin Laden or Harry Potter villain Sir Lord Voldemort, or even closer home, the likes of a Gabbar Singh or a Mogambo. You're watching Brasstacks. Coming up at 9:50 p.m. here on the show, adventure junkie Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister Pema Khandu is at it again, this time on a 4x4 off-roader. Also coming up at 9:50, talking about people who like cars, MS Dhoni and Dwayne Bravo this time squaring off, not over cars, not over cricket, over that game. That's also coming up in 10 minutes. Meanwhile, as promised, Chhattisgarh Chief Minister Bhupesh Baghel found himself at the receiving end of lashes. Here's why. And it was all in the name of tradition. The Chief Minister was taking part in a puja in Durg district, and as part of tradition, Baghel volunteered to be beaten with a whip. The Chief Minister rolled up his sleeves and held up his arm while a man lashed it with a whip. He did it about 6 times before Baghel had enough. According to the tradition, this ritual helps ward off evil spirits. 2 Indian Air Force helicopters successfully evacuated a civilian aircraft which had crashed in Kedarnath at an altitude of 11,500 feet. The aircraft had crashed at the helipad near the Kedarnath shrine a few days ago. Two Mi-17 V-5 helicopters of the Indian Air Force were pressed into action. One chopper had to provide logistical support, the other had to extricate the downed civilian aircraft. The crashed aircraft was hooked below one of the IAF helicopters and flown to Shastradhara near Dehradun. With only foot-track connectivity to Kedarnath, there was no other feasible way to transport the wreckage to a lower region. 70,000 additional security forces deployed in the Kashmir Valley are getting ready for a long and harsh winter. They will be given 120,000 additional pieces of thermal inner wear, 60,000 Parika jackets, sleeping bags, as well as blankets will be given to the troops. Close to 70 insulated prefabricated barracks are being readied, which can accommodate up to 40 soldiers each at a time. Around 1,500 Bukharis, these are traditional heaters that are used in Kashmir, they're also being arranged to keep the troops warm. 2 people were injured in a freak accident in Rajasthan's Sirohi district, and it was all captured on CCTV camera. As he walked out of the store, this man could never have imagined what happened next. The narrow stretch of road collapsed into a huge sinkhole within seconds. And the man fell into it along with a bike, a pile of boxes, and a bucket. The sinkhole also swallowed another man who was standing close by. Other bystanders immediately rushed to the spot and pulled out the men from the sinkhole. Locals claim the road was hastily built by the municipal body to cover an open drain. AIUDF Chief Badruddin Ajmal has rejected Assam's 2-child law for government jobs, which will be in place from 2021.
हिंदू भाइयों को नौकरियां दो ताकि वो भी खुश रहें और आप
He said Islam does not allow such restriction.
हमारे मुस्लिम लोग के लिए हम तो कह रहे हैं भाई जितना जिसके नसीब में लिखा है बच्चा पैदा करते रहो बच्चे पैदा होने से किसी के नसीब में कोई किसी के नसीब का नहीं खाता
Service or in
The BJP has accused Ajmal of communalizing the issue.
this should not be seen with the angle of the religion, whether being a Muslim or Hindu.
But a BJP MLA claims Hindus are at risk because of rising Muslim population.
मैं स्वयं कह रहा हूं कि भारत की धरती पर यदि जनसंख्या नियंत्रण कानून का निर्माण नहीं हुआ तो आगे आने वाले 50 वर्षों बाद भारत में भी हिंदुत्व सुरक्षित नहीं रहेगा।
The law passed by the Assam government bars government jobs to people having more than 2 children. It comes into effect from the 1st of January 2021. Chain snatching crimes have been on the rise in the National Capital Region. Another incident has come to light from Delhi's Rohini area. The entire incident was captured on CCTV. As the woman walks towards a grocery store, 2 bike-borne men follow her. The pillion rider gets off the bike, walks behind the woman. Seconds later, he pushes the woman and snatches her gold chain. The woman chases him, but the bike-borne men flee the scene in a flash. Both the chain snatchers have now been arrested by the Delhi police. Anti-government protests in Haiti have claimed the lives of 2 people. Protesters are demanding the resignation of Haitian president over failing to curb economic woes. The peaceful protests turned violent after demonstrators locked horns with cops, which also led to a gunfight. Argentina's center-left opposition candidate Alberto Fernandez has been elected the country's next president. He's taking charge at a time when Argentina is battling its worst economic crisis amidst rising poverty and high inflation rates. Residents in Chhattisgarh's Mahasamund area are facing a jumbo crisis which has paralyzed their lives. The residents have stopped stepping out as they are feeling threatened by a herd of elephants.
तो जो हाथी की गंभीर स्थिति है, लोग मौत के साए में जीने को मजबूर हैं.
At least 20 to 30 elephants have been wandering in the area for over 3 months now. They come here regularly in search of food. As a result, farmers are incurring heavy losses because of the elephants trampling their crop.
फसल का तो रोज यानी बर्बाद हो रहा है कहीं न कहीं, और ऐसा बर्बाद हो रहा है कि उसको किसान कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते.
The elephants have also crushed at least 3 houses in the area. The residents have now approached the Chhattisgarh Forest Department to tackle the menace of elephants.
एलिफेंट रिजर्व बनाया जा रहा है, यहाँ से शिफ्टिंग जल्दी से जल्दी हो जाएगा.
2 people were killed and at least 14 people injured in a shooting incident near a college campus in Texas. The accused gunman opened fire during a Halloween party which was being attended by over 700 students. The suspect is still at large. The Iraqi government has imposed a curfew in the wake of violent protests. Hundreds of students, mostly women, joined the protests against unemployment and spiraling economic crisis. Clashes broke out in Baghdad, where police personnel fired tear gas to disperse protesters. The unprecedented crackdown on protesters since last week has claimed the lives of 200 people. Despite Hong Kong withdrawing that controversial extradition bill, the protests are showing no signs of dying down. For the 21st straight weekend, pro-democracy protesters hit the streets and clashed with riot police. Police charged at the protesters, firing tear gas in order to disperse them. But the protesters refused to back down. They hurled petrol bombs and set fire to the entrance of an underground train station. Hong Kong is now officially in recession after more than 5 months of anti-government protests. Protesters are angry about what they view as increasing interference by Beijing. An alert railway cop saved the life of a passenger. Take a look at how. CCTV footage shows the man boarding a moving train and losing his balance in the process. The RPF cop immediately jumps into action and pushes him back into the train. His quick thinking prevents the man from slipping under the train. This railway cop is earning himself a lot of praise online, with many calling him a superhero. You're watching Brasstacks, where we focus only on the news and not on noise. Coming up in 10 minutes, why California has declared a state of emergency. From fire to ice now, Arunachal Pradesh Chief Minister Pema Khandu has cranked up his adventure spirit yet again, this time on a 4x4 off-roader. The 40-year-old drove an all-terrain vehicle in snow in Tawang district. Khandu says the 107-kilometer ride was at an altitude of 15,600 feet. And sitting by his side, filming the video, was Sports Minister Kiran Rijiju. Snow-capped mountains surrounded the duo as they drove through Tawang. This is Khandu's latest attempt to boost tourism in Arunachal Pradesh. Last month, he rode a Royal Enfield Interceptor motorcycle for 122 kilometers through the mountains. People are ready to spend close to $1 million to give their cars a home. Take a look at the most expensive parking spaces in the world. Even as protests are raging on in Hong Kong, one man in the city spent a whopping $960,000 on a 135 square foot parking space. A pair of parking spots in Boston in the US was sold for $560,000. That's nearly twice the median sale price of a home in the state of Massachusetts. And last year, a parking lot in Brooklyn, New York went on sale for $300,000. After the Punjab and Maharashtra Cooperative Bank scam, another big fraud has come to light yet again from Maharashtra. A popular jewellery chain has duped hundreds of depositors. The owners of Goodwin Jewellers, a popular brand from Kerala, have fled with crores of rupees of depositors. Thousands of customers protested outside Goodwin's showrooms, demanding their hard-earned money back. Most of them had invested lakhs of rupees in a gold scheme which was to mature on the 21st of October.
Goodwin Jewellers में इन्वेस्ट किया था, तो अभी Goodwin Jewellers बंद हो गया, हमारा पैसा अटक गया। बच्चा का पढ़ाई के हिसाब से थोड़ा इन्वेस्ट किया था, एफडी करके रखा था, जो एफडी का खर्चा में मतलब बच्चे लोग का थोड़ा पढ़ाई हो जाएगा।
कितने सालों से भरते चले आ रहे थे?
मैं तो आज 5 साल से भरते चले आ रहे थे।
The owner shut shop a week ago when customers started inquiring about their money. The Maharashtra police has sealed all 14 stores of Goodwin and has lodged an FIR against the absconding owners Sudhir Kumar and Sudhish Kumar. Now here's how Bollywood celebrated the festival of Diwali. That and much more in our entertainment wrap. After a 2-year break, the Bachchan family hosted a mega Diwali bash for their friends in Mumbai. The Diwali party was attended by top Bollywood celebrities and cricketers who decked up in their best festive attires for the night. Meanwhile, miles away in Mexico, Priyanka Chopra Jonas celebrated her first Diwali post-marriage. She posted a series of pictures with husband Nick Jonas and intimate family members. Internet's favorite star kid, Taimur Ali Khan, is tired of the paparazzi. While stepping out with his mother Kareena Kapoor Khan, the toddler lashed out at the paparazzi in his own way. But superstar Shahrukh Khan has become the latest target of the troll army. This after he posted a picture with his family wearing a red tilak as part of Diwali celebrations. The picture did not go down well with hardline Islamists who called SRK a fake Muslim. Veteran actor Shabana Azmi lashed out at the trolls for spewing hatred in the name of religion. Mouth guard can make boxing safer. Sensors in the mouthguard will directly detect blows to the head, and then details of each impact are directly transmitted to a receiver. The medical staff who are constantly monitoring this data can then decide on how to deal with these head injuries right away. 4 boxers have died from injuries just in the last 3 months alone. The European Union has agreed to delay Brexit till the 31st of January next year in what is huge relief for embattled Prime Minister Boris Johnson. The announcement comes 3 days before the UK was to leave the European Union. EU Council President Donald Tusk called it a flextension, which means the UK could leave before the deadline if a deal was approved by Parliament. All eyes are now on Boris Johnson's push for an early general election.
Who speaks very strongly and well for his constituency.
The Scottish National Party and the Liberal Democrats have also proposed an election on the 9th of December.
She will be raising it. Parliament, as you know.
Johnson has repeatedly said the UK would leave on the 31st of October with or without a deal.
Yes, Speaker, in this House we defend...
But the law requires him to accept the EU's extension after Parliament failed to agree on a Brexit deal. In order to mark the 550th birth anniversary of Guru Nanak Dev, Air India has decided to install a special symbol on its aircraft that will fly between Amritsar and London. The symbol of Ek Onkar will be painted on the plane's tail wing, while the fuselage will be marked with the words Shri Guru Nanak Dev Ji 550-year celebrations as part of the celebrations beginning 31st of October. There's tragic news coming in from Mumbai's Thane, where a 7-year-old boy fell into a drain yesterday afternoon. However, after being rescued and transported to a nearby hospital, he was declared dead. Prince Charles, the heir to the British throne, will make an official visit to India next month with a focus on sustainable markets, climate change and social finance. Prince Charles will arrive in New Delhi for a 2-day visit on the 13th of November. This will be his 10th official visit to India. His last Indian tour took place in 2017. As part of a 100-year-old tradition, many residents in Amreli in Gujarat burn firecrackers and hurl them at each other. The city of Savarkundla in Amreli is famous for its Ingoria herbal fireworks. On the night of Diwali, people gather on the riverfront and throw these handmade fireworks to the opposite side. Spain's history. After Diwali, Delhi's air quality has plunged to the severe category, but there is a silver lining. A thick layer of haze and smog enveloped the national capital region. The air quality hit severe for the first time this season as Diwali revelers flouted Supreme Court's 2-hour limit for bursting crackers.
दिवाली के मौके पर दिल्ली में खूब आतिशबाजी हुई है, जिसका असर दिल्ली की हवाओं में साफ नजर आ रहा है। इस वक्त मैं मौजूद हूं इंडिया गेट पर, जहां आप देखेंगे कि पोल्यूशन लेवल कितना ज्यादा है कि इंडिया गेट जो है वो आपको धुंधला नजर आएगा। दिल्ली के कुछ इलाकों में जो पोल्यूशन लेवल है वो सीवियर कैटेगरी यानी गंभीर श्रेणी में पहुंच गया है।
Seeing the situation outside, many people were hesitant to step out in the morning.
I didn't see much of joggers or cyclists over here, probably because, at such a high pollution level, it's not advisable to, come out in the open and jog.
The elderly and children are facing the brunt of Delhi's poor air quality.
हवा के अंदर इतना पोल्यूशन है कि सांस लेना दिक्कत आ रही है, बहुत ज़्यादा दिक्कत आती है सांस लेना
मुश्किल है और सांस लेते हैं तो खांसी और एलर्जी हो रही है।
But Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal says pollution levels during Diwali were the lowest in 5 years.
जो आंकड़े आए हैं वो भी पिछले 5 सालों में सबसे कम पोल्यूशन दिवाली पे इस बार देखा गया है।
And the latest government data suggests that pollution levels are only going to rise further in the national capital because of stubble burning in Punjab and Haryana. Now, in just the last 28 days, Delhi's air quality has gone from satisfactory to severe. Take a look at the journey how. On the 1st of October, the AQI was below 100, so it was satisfactory, safe to breathe. A few days later, on the 8th, which was just about a week, the AQI was above 140. It was still okay, it was moderate. But on the 12th, suddenly it spiked to 275, making the air quality poor. And then on the 16th of October, by the middle of the month, the AQI further worsened to 342 of very poor. Last week, on the 24th, the AQI hit severe for the first time this season. It touched nearly 430. And on Diwali Day, the AQI came back down to very poor. But today, it's gone back up to severe, crossing 420. California has declared a statewide emergency as catastrophic wildfires continue to rage on. Deadly wildfires are raging in Sonoma County, one of California's wine-producing regions. It has already destroyed land equal to the size of 12,000 football fields. And it is rapidly spreading because of strong winds, which are moving at 120 kilometers an hour. (1,300 firefighters are battling wildfires on the ground, while military jets are spraying retardants to slow down the flames. Authorities are working round the clock, but only 5% of the blaze has been contained so far. As a result, at least 40,000 residents have been evacuated and California's main power lines have been switched off. It's announced that users can now simply call out to their Alexa smart speaker to pay their bills. Now, the new Alexa feature supports bill payments across categories like electricity, water, postpaid mobile, cooking gas, broadband, DTH, you name it. This will allow users to get notifications through Alexa when bills are due and ask questions about the bill amount or how it compares with prior ones. Reliance Industries chairman Mukesh Ambani has moved a step closer to creating an e-commerce giant in India, unveiling plans to set up a $24 billion digital services holding company that will become the main vehicle in his ambition to dominate the country's internet shopping space. With the new holding firm, Mukesh Ambani is also readying the businesses for an IPO. Louis Vuitton owner LVMH has made a bid for iconic jeweler Tiffany & Co. with a $14.5 billion offer. It will be LVMH's biggest purchase to date. The preliminary offer was submitted to Tiffany earlier this month. Sources say that Tiffany has hired advisors to review the offer but not yet responded. Tiffany's exports to China have seen a big drop because of higher tariffs. In Ujjain, hundreds of cows walked over a group of men, and no, this was not an accident. It's meant to be a ritual that helps the men be cured of diseases. The men are lined up and then made to lie face down. Across from them, the cows are decked up and made to wait. Then, one by one, the cows are made to walk right over the men who are lying on the ground. This tradition is met with loud cheers from the crowd. A couple pushing their baby in a stroller at a busy intersection had a narrow escape. As they were crossing the road, a speeding Jeep barreled towards them while running a red light. But they were saved in the nick of time when another car smashed into the Jeep, stalling it. The crash gave the family time to quickly cross the road. The driver of the Jeep that nearly crashed into the family has been arrested for drunk driving. NASA has announced a new robotic rover that will search the moon for water. Viper, as it's called, will use a drill and other instruments to try and explore the polar areas. It would be launched by 2022 and spend 100 days collecting data. The information will then help guide NASA's return to the moon, which is slated for 2024. A major fire broke out at a tire factory in Hyderabad. Thick plumes of smoke rose from the building as firefighters struggled to put out the fire. It took them a while to bring the flames under control because heavy-duty rubber was stored in the godown. While no casualties were reported, authorities asked those staying in the neighborhood to vacate their homes till the fire was brought under control. Australian astronomers have discovered the footprints of a previously unknown monster galaxy in an earlier universe. Now, evidence of these galaxies has never been established, but researchers estimate that the signal took something like 12.5 billion years to reach the Earth. They say that the emission is caused by the glow of dust particles that's heated by stars forming inside the galaxy. The giant clouds of dust conceal the galaxy completely, and that's why it's gone unnoticed for so long. A restaurant in Jaipur did not deliver food on time, so the customers landed up to vent their anger. The window panes of the restaurant were shattered, glass was strewn at the entrance. The angry customers then started breaking chairs and tables at the entrance of the restaurant. One of them even threw a piece of furniture at an employee who ran for cover. The customers even broke off the railings of the restaurant. While all this vandalism was taking place, a massive crowd gathered in front of the restaurant just to see the drama. Samsung has announced a Diwali bonanza. That and much more in our daily dose of tech. Samsung has slashed the price of Galaxy A80, which now costs 39,990 rupees. It's the first Samsung phone to come with a rotating triple camera with Qualcomm Snapdragon octa-core processor.
Do it like this, then I'll do it like that. I'm gonna make it good. I'm gonna do it right.
Honor has launched its fitness tracker range with a starting price of 1,600 rupees. The fitness bands come with a USB plug-in and a battery life of at least 7 days. A shocking case of drunk driving has come to light from Michigan in the United States. The pickup truck spiraled out of control and crashed into a gas station. It drove into the gas station at full speed and shattered the billing counter. The driver then hobbled out the truck and started unloading his things, following which he removed the vehicle's number plate and fled from the spot. The rogue truck driver was later arrested by the cops. He was found guilty of drunk driving. Liverpool students of the Jawaharlal Nehru University staged protests against the administration over a proposed fee hike. Students were allegedly banned from a key meeting, following which they ghettoed the dean and locked him inside a room. Angry students also blocked medical services within the campus. The protest was triggered by the administration's proposal of increasing fees and imposing a curfew time. Student body representatives claim that the administration has been taking decisions unilaterally. What a cute little story to end Brasstacks on. Thanks very much for tuning in. From me, Zakka Jacob, and the team, thanks for your time. Good night. Epicenter is up next with Shakil.